Sitting down here with Adam Peaty, Commonwealth Game champion in the 50 breast from these 2022 games. Adam, it's good to have you on. Thanks for taking the time. First off, just coming into these games, how would you have assessed where you were with your recovery from this foot injury and in the pool and your training?
I mean, it was a very difficult one, firstly, because I've never had an injury, so never had the experience of what it should feel like. I mean, the only thing I could probably relate it to other people is that if you take 10 weeks out of your job and then try to do your job the exact same or better, it's obviously not going to be the same, is it? So going into the commies, I did feel confident. I felt like I could at least get down to a 58, but that proved obviously very, very hard to do just because of the lack of race experience in the year. Obviously, I missed the whole winter because of various things and various reasons why after the sport as well, after the Olympics. And then, all the illness I got around March and April and then broke my foot in May. So you're pretty much taking out all your training blocks. But, that's not an excuse. I still decided to turn up. I still decided to, do the championships. And I still thought that I could, come back and do it. But, it just proved a little bit too hard without all the race experience that year.
So then coming into these games in the 100, it seemed like prelims and semis went pretty well for you. How do you think that event went in terms of just moving through those rounds as you've done so many times before?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think this is a very different one though. I mean, in the heats, that was a very, very hard 59 high. Normally, I can do that in training like quite easily and not even make an effort, but it just proved to be very hard. And then on the semi-final, it was just about trying to improve that a little bit more, put a bit more emotion there, a bit more processing there. But yeah, I mean, and then in the final, it was just obviously the two races before that just took so much out of me. I woke up the next day, I was very, very sore, very tired, and I just didn't feel the best self. But I think that's just due to the back-to-back racing that I didn't have, and the stamina was obviously hit. But yeah, I mean, it was good. I was happy with the semi, 59.0. To do a 59.0 under those circumstances, I think it's still pretty good. But I'm looking forward to obviously, debriefing with myself fully after these next 4 weeks.
Is there residual? Is the injury fully healed at this point?
I mean, I think we're a week out of what they should say was fully healed. So I've still got a week to go. I can still feel it very slightly, but it was really the amount of time we lost, the amount of water time properly doing breaststroke, the amount of fitness we lost. I was only on 3K sessions, 3.5, 4K max, for 7 days. And then, normally I'm doing 5.5K sessions, and I'm doing all my fitness stuff around there and the threshold. So yeah, I mean, it just took a lot out of me. Just took a lot of the fitness that normally down the back end. That's where my bread and butter is normally.
What did you add into your training to supplement swimming when you couldn't be into the pool? And do you feel like that gave you something else that you didn't have before?
A lot of biking. I pretty much relied on the bike to get my legs into that fitness shape, and it felt pretty good. I felt I was getting fitter and stronger. But what I've learned really is that you can't replace the meters. You can't replace the swimming, because that is what we do, and that's what is highly specific. If I wasn't so specific and I wasn't looking to break world records, then potentially that would be an all right training method. But you just can't hide from the actual training.
So then heading into well, I guess after that 100, can you describe where you were mentally and emotionally? Did you feel like you'd ever been somewhere like that at a meet this big before?
I think devastated just because the amount of investment I knew I put into that recovery, trying to get obviously as fit as I can and as fast as I can. But also, I think it's important to put stuff into perspective as well. That this year was always going to be an off year after the Olympics, and it was always going to be no winter. So I've still got to put that into perspective. But initially, of course, that's it's not even a fast time, 59. I just don't really consider 59 to be fast anymore. And that isn't an arrogant thing. That's just the truth. It's just where breaststroke is at the moment. So, 59.9, 59.8, whatever it was just, yeah, not good at all. But, obviously I'm devastated with that, but I've just got to address that over the next few weeks. And it's certainly given me a hunger to, come back to the sport and, give my absolute 100%.
So then heading into the 50, after being devastated, like, why even swim the 50? What was your motivation there?
I think because for the last God knows how long, every single time, I come up to a challenge and I shouldn't have done something, I've done it, and this is no exception. That just because I had a bad 100, that doesn't define me. I turned up on the heats, did no warm up, just went straight through it. Put my suit on and just went for it because I was like, you know what, I'm just at my lowest of my low here. And then the semi final, pretty much the same, no investment. And in the final, I got myself really up for it and won it. But there was the option to escape and there was the option just to come home and forget about the world. But that isn't me. I showed that I can still fight, I can still win, even if everything's against me. But they're going to be important skills over these next 2 years, and I didn't want to just not do it.
Was obviously that was the one big title that you had never attained before. Was that meaningful to you to finally get that 50 breast Commonwealth gold?
Absolutely. I mean, it's completed the collection now. I've won every single race there is to win. Obviously that I can do, but I mean, I've just proven that that's anywhere, anytime, right? You can win it anywhere, anytime. It took 8 years to win that one, but I'm glad that I've come away now and absolutely kind of completed the collection.
So then moving forward, are you going to Europeans?
No, I'm not going to go to Europeans with a 59 high.
So what is the rest of the summer look like, and what does the fall look like for you in terms of swimming or not swimming?
I mean, I've took my rest and I've took, the pain from that defeat firstly, but that kind of has to go into obviously something that is constructive now. For me, I'm going to take 4 weeks off, completely reset, go to Greece, get some sun on my back with the family, turn my phone off. Absolutely, I just don't want to be near my phone. And then fall is where it happens. September onwards, that is when we, go for it and, get a good solid winter block, find my happiness in the sport and, do what I need to do.
So you're one of the faces of Speedo's Swim United campaign. Moving forward for you, how important is it for you to have a diverse and inclusive sport in the future?
It's incredibly important. Firstly, because the amount of resources that are being taken away from the younger generation and the poorer communities. We want to make swimming and sport as accessible to as many people as possible, no matter where you come from, what community you're in, and how much money you've got. Sport should have no prejudice. So, for me, being involved in that campaign is incredibly important. Just because when I started swimming, it was like £1 or $2 when I was going for a swim session, but now it's £5, £6, £7. Not many families can afford to do that multiple times a week, especially in a cost of living crisis. So the Swim United campaign is to address those issues and get as many people swimming as possible.
Well, Adam, I don't want to keep you too long. I appreciate you taking the time once again, and congrats on Commonwealth Gold, and I hope the vacation goes well.
Thank you very much.